And I'm Ed Holen. Welcome to this edition of the Olympia Insider. And by the way, we're standing here in the very last week of the legislative session.
At least the regular session. We're hearing that tentatively they're going to have to go to a special session at least for a day or two because of the way Easter falls this year and them not being able to compromise all the things that they need to do in relationship to the budgets.
Well, and finally, we've come to the point in time where the House of Representatives and the Senate have put out their budget proposals for the next 2 years. They have to reconcile all of the big picture stuff as well as the little picture stuff that relates to people with developmental disabilities.
Right. And in that regard, we're seeing that we have the governor's budget, we have the House budget, we have the Senate budget. And some good things in the budget is the House and Senate both put in $150,000 for the parent-to-parent program, which is good. They restore minus 10% the individual family support program, as did the governor. They also restored the children's intensive behavior support program, like the governor did. And then there's a couple big issues. Why don't you explain that are sort of challenges at this moment?
Well, before we get to the two big issues, the other cut that is in all three budgets is the cut to Medicaid personal care, which definitely will continue to impact people that rely upon those services to help them do maybe other things in their life, like get to their job or live more independently.
Well, and also then the Medicare Part D program, the reduction where people are going to have to pay for their co-pays for their drugs, which I think is pretty devastating and it's going to be difficult for people.
One of the two big issues for developmental disabilities is the downsizing and closing of our large DD institutions called residential habilitation centers and allowing people to move into more home and community-based settings.
In the governor's budget, she proposed closing Francis Haddon Morgan Center and also Yakima Valley Nursing Facility. In the Senate, they've taken a little different approach. I believe they take the names out and are going to deal with a policy bill that is looking at least Rainier and Francis Haddon Morgan Center. And then in the House, I believe originally they were going to support Francis Haddon Morgan Center and Yakima, but it seems right now it's only the support of Francis Haddon Morgan Center.
So they're still kind of all over the place, and in the end, all of that needs to get reconciled and one decision needs to take place.
The second issue that is a challenge is in relationship to the employment and day service options. The governor proposed a flat-out $16 million, about $16 million cut that would be given to the counties and employment providers. The House, I believe, they did something dramatically different in taking away the working age adult policy 12 months that you work, and then if that's not successful or you don't want to do that longer, you get to choose either community access or the creation of this new day program. In addition to that, they were lowering the per caps on the Medicaid waivers for people and then saying the division had to serve an additional 2,600 people who were on the Medicaid waivers. So that one got to be bundled into a pretty complex package. The Senate, on the other hand, they reduced only $3 million for the employment to date providers. That came down from $7 million. And then they, instead of adding a new service, they are saying that there's going to be a more robust community access program. And but they too saying that over time that probably some of the 2,600 people who are currently on the Medicaid waiver will choose community access because it's a more robust program.
And I think the Senate says that after 9 months of trying, if somebody cannot get a job, they can have the option of going to this community access program.
Right, that's my understanding too.
As usual with the legislature, it's not over until it's over.
Right.
So there's still time for you to make your phone call, send your email, get the message to your legislator to highlight those things that are important to you in the budget, concerns that you might have, for there's a lot of work yet to be done, and it could all happen very quickly, or of course it could hit a snag and drag on and on and on.
Right, which we hope doesn't happen.
Right.
And you have to remember, like always, change is made by people who show up, and you have to be showing up now because the cuts are too deep and the impacts to people too harsh.
And remember,
change is made by those who show up! Yes!